I need to speak with you, my child.
Yes, Petrus. What is it?
I've come up with a plan to put what we've learned about the Mother Cardinal to use.
Do tell.
You will have to take part in a fight in the arena, and we must make sure that the odds are high. To do this, you'll have to face a champion. This will lure her in.
That would effectively raise the odds. But the risk is they'll bet against me.
That may be the case, but the highest bets are based on the exact time of the defeat.
I see. We are going to make the Mother Cardinal believe that I will lose at a specific time.
And by doing so, you'll win something bigger than a fight.
This'll make her lose a considerable amount.
Exactly. I've even taken measures to make sure her usual moneylender is unavailable. Without knowing it, she will come to me looking for gold in order to place her bet.
And she will be at our mercy. Is this how you settle scores in Teleme?
This is how all scores are settled, my child. Or on the battlefield. But that's much dirtier. So, what do you say?
It's a complicated plan, but an effective one. Let's put it in motion.
Let's go back to the St. Matthias bookmaker. Your skills seem to interest him.
There were Naught who gave us information when they had problems with the Inquisition. Do you remember him?
Yes, I remember Fernando. Let's go and see him. Good day.
Welcome. You here to wager? To fight?
I want to challenge the champion of the arena.
A champion? Really? Now, you were asking about Candy Cane. It wouldn't be him that sent you here by any chance.
No. No one has sent me. I'm looking to make a reputation for myself.
Ah, that sounds better. You know that in order to attain supreme glory, there are a few rungs on the ladder. None of my champions will make a trip to fight against someone barely known.
Even if I promise that the spectacle will be worth the journey.
No one cares about promises. Prove yourself in the arena and win at least the third challenge, and people will start to listen to you.
Very well. We'll see each other again soon.
At least you have the right attitude. That's summit.
I will leave you alone until your reputation in the arena is established. There's no point in me following your trail for days.
Yes, that's wiser. It could take some time.
Let me know if you need me.
Of course, Petrus.
Ready to excite the crowd?
I need to get going.
Huh. Ready to... Perfect. Here for your greatest pleasure, our team of excellence!
May the enlightened protect me in this battle! To my help! And death to the others! May the shadow engulf our enemies! Move away! Things are about to get dicey! Your magic is running out! Take a potion! I am wounded! May the enlightened come to my help! May the enlightened protect me in this battle! To my help! And death to the others! Your magic is running out! Take a potion! Green blood! I can't hold on! May the shadow engulf our enemies! May the shadow engulf our enemies! I am wounded! May the enlightened come to my help! May the enlightened protect me in this battle! To my help! Death to the others! Move away! Things are about to get dicey! May the shadow engulf our enemies! I can't hold on much longer! I am wounded! May the enlightened come to our enemies! You're running out of energy! Drink a potion! May the enlightened protect you in this battle! To my help! And death to the others! To my help! Death to the others! Move away! Things are about to get dicey! Your magic is running out! Take a potion! May the fire engulf our enemies! I am wounded! May the enlightened come to my help! I can't hold on much longer. Move away. Things are about to get dicey.
Excellent. And the public really appreciated it. Now that was a challenge well won.
I need to get going.
Huh.
Good day.
Welcome. You here to wager? To fight?
I've done what you asked me. Can I have my fight now?
I have to admit that you've surprised me. You have technique and style, and the public does love you. Let me think. There's Briscard, one of our old champions. It's been a while since he fought, but he did ask me to set something up for him. He's not a youngster anymore, but his name is known, and he's a killer. I'm warning you.
This Briscard sounds like the perfect opponent.
A deal! I'll work on getting things ready for the combat and line up the betting. Until then, make sure you're ready. It'll be a duel. Your friends will need to stay in their seats. As soon as you're ready, you'll just need to go and see the arena master.
We should go and see Candy Cane so he can set up our deal. So when you win, she will lose her bet.
We'll make you dance, land dwellers. And death to the others!
Take a potion. May the shadow engulf our enemies.
You again? What do you want this time?
Why so defensive? Petrus, you had a proposal to make, I believe.
That's right. I've thought of a little scheme that could make us all very rich. You know me, so you also know I'm quite clever, and that my ideas are always fruitful.
You have a reputation of being a first-class manipulator.
Wait. At least listen to our proposal.
You really take me for an idiot. Gentlemen, teach them not to mess with me again.
May the enlightened protect me in this battle! To my help! And death to the others!
May the shadow engulf our enemies!
To my help! And death to the others!
Kane is not here. At least not yet.
You again?
I have a very lucrative proposal for you. You know that I have to fight against a champion.
Everyone knows. You were expected to lose in 1 minute.
I'm well aware of that. I know that my opponent is too strong for me. But let's suppose my opponent draws the fight out a bit. For the beauty of the battle, of course.
I'm starting to see what you're alluding to. This fight don't interest me. The odds against you are so high, I wouldn't get much out of it. But if we make all the gamblers lose, by letting you hang in there a little longer...
We could win a nice little nest egg.
Organising this will entail some costs for me. It's better to add a bonus. Without the bonus, there's no deal. If you pay me in advance, you won't be tempted to play any tricks. So, get your wallet out.
We can definitely reach a deal, but we would have to renegotiate the odds.
Absolutely not. You're not in a position to negotiate. You need me too much.
I'd have a really good think about it if I were you. I may not be a champion, but you know I have a certain reputation in the arena.
Is that a threat? Gentlemen, teach this imbecile a lesson.
May the enlightened protect me in this battle! To my help! And death to the others!
May the shadow engulf our enemies!
To my help! And death to the others!
May the enlightened protect me in this battle!
To my help! And death to the others!
The magic is running out! Take a potion!
Candy Cane is not here. Not yet. Remember, my child, the bookmaker told us that he hangs around here at night.
How are we going to influence Cornelius' bets without Candy Cane?
Have faith, my child. Let's start by searching the body. We will find a way. Let's search the bodies of Candy Cane and his men. It's the only thing to do. Hope and pray. We're sure to find something close. Have faith in the clemency of the enlightened.
Petrus, your prayers have been answered. This crook had a letter from Cornelia on him, and a key.
My child, this letter confirms that our plan may work. Cornelia is interested in your fight.
She also mentioned a secret letterbox for returning the mail. This key probably opens it.
If that is the case, all we have to do is slip in a letter from Candy Cane. I've got it. We'll slip a fake one in, advising him to bet on the fact you will hold on for 5 minutes.
The letterbox is probably not far from here.
Wait, my child. I will first write this fake letter for Cornelia.
Petrus, you would make the perfect criminal.
There is no light without shadow. The enlightened knows it, and knows how to guide the righteous ones.
Green blood, my friend. Do you need something?
What is your duty as Master of Arms?
What was my duty, you mean? In truth, you may have guessed it, but my main role, without, of course, you have to be considered trustworthy. Always at the courts, but never really below. Anything else?
I must leave you.
Ready to excite the crowd? Ah, there you are. I was told you'd be taking on one of our old champions. Are you ready for the fight? Beware. Contrary to the challenges, this combat must be fought alone. Your friends must remain in the stands.
Yes, I am ready.
So, jump into the arena, and may the better fighter win. What a brilliant spectacle. Congratulations on your victory.
Thank you. It wasn't easy.
And here are your winnings from the combat. You've earned them.
Bravo! A glorious victory, which is made all the sweeter by double compensation.
I don't believe I've ever seen you happier. The thought of holding something over Cornelia seems to do you wonders.
That is true. Politics is an extremely subtle game, and just as satisfying as fighting in an arena.
I imagine we need to go and see her now.
Yes, and I hope you will enjoy the moment every bit as much as I will.
Lady de Sardet. And you, Petrus. What can I do for you?
We have come to offer our support. We have learned that the arena was cruel to you.
How do you know that? Oh, I see. You tricked my informer.
We just let him believe that I would lose.
All I did was take the place of your moneylender. You owe me a handsome sum.
All of this just to make me spill the beans, am I right? I didn't expect you to play this kind of game, Your Excellency. It is true, though, that with such a teacher...
Oh, come on, Cornelia. You excel at this game.
It's true. And I also know when to admit defeat. What do you want from me?
We won't use what we know of you, nor what you owe us, so long as you act loyally towards the congregation and Constantine. Is that clear?
Is that what you're expecting? Ah, but I'm sure that this sly old fox has something else in mind, right? You hope that I'll support you when you court the rank of cardinal? You haven't learnt your lesson, then? Have you forgotten the abyss into which you plunged because of your ambition last time?
Petrus, what's she talking about?
Cornelia, you don't have the right to use that against me, to disclose what I revealed to you that day.
It was said under the seal of the Enlightened, it's true. But if someone deserves to know, it's her.
No, please.
Since you have no intention of speaking, I will. Petrus knew your mother, child. Your real mother.
My mother? Petrus, is it true? How?
Be damned, Cornelia. It's true. I knew your mother. I used to go to the jail to give my spiritual support to the prisoners of the Prince d'Orsay. That's where I met her. She was alone, afraid, and exhausted. And so strange. Obviously, I had no way of knowing that she came from here. The princes kept their secret well.
Why didn't you tell me about it? You know that my uncle lied to me, and you kept quiet.
I was ashamed. Ashamed of having left her to die in that dead-end pit. Completely alone.
Why talk to others about it then? Why does she know?
One evening, in a fit of despair, Petrus felt the need to share this great burden with someone.
At the time, you were the ear of the enlightened, Cornelia. You have broken your vows. Ah, damnation. It's better out in the open. I've wanted to tell you about it since I met you. Now that you know, I want to do something in her memory. I will help you find your family here on the island. The prince sent you here to use you. But I can ensure that all of this serves a purpose.
How could I possibly believe you now? You have used me for your scheming and have kept me in the dark.
I understand how you feel, my child. Let's wait a little, until you've taken it all in. Time heals the wounds of the soul. Come back and see me when you are ready. As for you, Cornelia, remember what we have on you. You no longer have the upper hand.
Be careful, de Sardet. You now see the real Petrus, sly and opportunistic.
Good day, de Sardet. How can I help you?
We are looking for a young Naut named Alba, on behalf of the Admiral.
I've heard about her. Several crew members told me that one of our own was looking to leave the island. You should ask them if you want to learn more. They should be near the boarding area. But me? I've not seen her. More questions?
Thanks. I've got everything I need. Hello. We're looking for a young Naut who arrived not long ago from New Serene. Her name is Alba. Does that ring a bell?
Maybe. I saw a sea given that I didn't recognize hanging out on the docks a few days ago. She was talking with the crew near the boarding area.
Hello. We're looking for a Naut recently arrived from New Serene. Her name is Alba.
That rings a bell, yeah. I saw a young girl a few days ago. I think she was looking for someone, but that's all I can remember.
It's our savior. Good to see you again, my lady. What can we do for you?
How are you since your release?
Very well, thanks again. And we are much calmer since those Inquisitors were imprisoned. We will always be grateful.
I shall leave you, sailor. See you later, perhaps.
Your Excellency, what fair wind brings you here?
We're looking for a young Nort who arrived from New Serene a short time ago. Her name is Alba.
Yes, I remember her well. The poor child wanted to flee her father, who wanted to take her back to the convent. She asked me when our ship was leaving, and if I thought we could take her on board. I told her she'd better talk to the captain, but we weren't leaving right away in any case. So she left.
You say she was fleeing her father?
Yes, that's what she said. He followed her here to take her back to Thélème. Poor child.
Did she tell you what his name was?
Yes. She told me that if a certain gentleman, Lorenz? That's it, Lorenz. If he was asking after her, I should send him packing.
Surely it was a fake excuse. We're looking for her for espionage and treason.
Really? Yet she seems sincere. Treason? I can't believe it.
If her father is actually here, do you have any idea where we might find him?
Well, at one point I asked her why she was not waiting at the tavern for a ship to leave. She told me she could not go to the tavern, so maybe that's where you'll find him.
I must leave you.
May the Enlightened bless you.
Can I get you anything?
No, thank you. I'm fine.
Have a nice day, madam.
May the Enlightened always keep you in his divine blessing.
Hello. Are you Master Lorenz?
Indeed, my lady. What do you want from me?
My name is de Sardet. I'm the legate of the merchant congregation, and I have a few questions for you. We're looking for a young Nort called Alba. We were told that you are her father.
Alba, what a stupid name. Her real name is Clara, and yes, she is my daughter, although she chose to deny me.
Have you seen her recently?
Alas, no. Otherwise, I would have brought that little idiot back to Thélème. Why did she have to leave? What madness could make her leave the convent to go to sea?
Your daughter is accused of espionage and treason by the Nauts. Do you think she could be guilty?
Espionage? I can't believe it. But treason? How can it be denied? She rejected her country, her faith, and her family by getting on that ship. But I will soon bring her back on the right path. I hired a sleuth from the Ordo Luminis.
Tell me more about this sleuth.
Some Inquisitors are specialists in hunting criminals, or heretics, or young scatterbrains. That's certainly the case with this Johannes. He will bring her back to me, and she will return to the convent in Teleme.
Do you know where we could find him? Maybe he could help us.
His last message was about a missionary camp where he had followed her near Wench... something or other. I'm sorry, I can't remember those island names.
Thank you, sir.
If you find her, bring her back to me. She will no longer have the chance to betray anyone at the convent. I hope we're done.
I'll leave you, sir.
A missionary camp near an island village whose name begins with Wench. He must be talking about Wenchavier. Shall we go there?
Running out. Take a potion. May the shadow engulf our enemies.
Get down and listen. It seems to me that it's our sleuth.
Let me go. I've done nothing wrong.
Speak if you want me to release you. Where is she?
I don't know. I'm thirsty. Give me water.
You will have nothing until you tell me something.
Have mercy. I'm dying.
I don't care. If you die, I will just question another one like you. Talk! Where is the girl?
I recognize this sleuth from the Ordo Luminis. It's Johannes. He's obviously still looking for Anna.
Hey! Who goes there? Who are you? And what are you doing here? Are you spying on me?
My name is Desardet. I'm the legate of the congregation, and I was sent to find a young Naut, Alba.
That dirty little eel slipped through my fingers. But this savage will soon tell me where to find her.
I see you folks at the Ordo Luminis are as subtle as ever. Why politely ask when we can resort to torture, hmm?
Only missionaries believe that these savages would help us without encouragement. But why are you concerned by my methods if you're looking for this young woman too?
I do not like the idea of leaving a trail of blood behind, Johannes. The case that sends us here far exceeds your petty mission. So you'd better leave.
I made a commitment to find this young woman and bring her back to her father. I will not give up so easily. I have been promised a substantial amount of money. And I care about my reputation.
Ha! Your reputation? Your order has already lost the support of the Cardinal Mother for interfering with the Nauts. And here you are again, involved in their business. You're putting nails in your own coffin, Johannes.
Huh. I didn't see it from that angle. Well, I'm going back to San Mateus. I leave you this savage. Have fun, and happy hunting.
Let's free this poor man.
May the grass be forever soft under your feet, Renaigse. I thought I was dead. He would have killed me, even if I had spoken.
You're probably right. Do you think you can answer us? We also have questions to ask you.
You saved me. I owe you answers. But first, I have to go back to my village. I need to heal. Meet me in Wen Chevalier later on. You are the ones who saved me from Saul Lasser. I am so grateful to you. I owe you so much. But you wanted to ask me questions?
Do you offer services as a guide?
Sometimes I take Renaigse to a good fishing place. They give me beautiful objects in exchange. But right now we have to be careful. There have been accidents with the Tenlands. Did you want anything else?
We're looking for a Naut girl. The same one that the Inquisitor is looking for.
But I promised Alba to say nothing. I would really like to help you, but...
And you risked your own life keeping your promise. But Alba is in a very delicate situation. If we do not find her first, others will track her down. And they will kill her without letting her defend herself.
So she was right to be afraid, that poor girl. She came here saying she was being chased. I led her into the forest nearby to a cave where she could hide. If you have one of your... notes, I'll show you where she is.
Thank you.
Did you want anything else?
I must go. Goodbye.
engulf our enemies! Your magic is running out! Take a potion!
You're running out of energy. Drink a potion.
May the shadow engulf our enemies!
This is the cave that the tortured survivor told us about.
I can't say that I have a good memory of this place.
Maybe a to my help! And death to the...
Maybe enlighten protect me in this battle! Your magic is running out! Take a potion! May the shadow engulf our enemies!
Move away! Things are about to get dicey! Someone camped here. Probably the child.
No! You will not get me! I will not go back to the convent!
Protect me in this battle!
You to my help! And death to the others!
Stop! You have won! Finish me. I still prefer to die than to return to my father.
I'm starting to have doubts about our mission, my child. This girl is sincere.
We did not intend to kill you, let alone take you back to your father.
So then why are you here?
We know you betrayed the Nauts who took you in. You stole documents from your captain to sell them to the highest bidder. And we're here to pick them up.
What? I never did such a thing. The Nauts are the family I chose. I would never betray them.
There's no point in denying it. We found the dead drop that you used. We confirmed that you were negotiating to sell secrets. And Captain Reuben, who already suspected you, reported the theft of his book just as you were leaving town.
But all of this is false. I don't even know what a dead drop is. And if I fled, it was to escape you.
Escape us? If you were not the spy, that makes no sense. You'd better tell us what happened.
Some time ago, Captain Reuben told me that he had been informed that my father had gone to Teerfredi. It worried me. I knew my father would do anything to bring me back. Then, in New Serene, my colleagues told me that the legate was looking for me. I was scared. I told the captain, who told me that I would find a ship in San Mateus to leave the island. But there were none. I saw my father at the tavern with one of his inquisitors, and I realized that my only chance was to flee deeper inland. A native helped me find this cave, and there you have it.
I can't believe it.
And yet, the captain used us and this young woman with manipulative skills worthy of a cardinal.
Probably to hide the fact that he himself is the spy. We've been duped. We must return to New Serene as soon as possible and warn the Admiral before it's too late.
And what will become of me?
You will come with us. We will protect you. We'll need your testimony.
De Sarde, what can I do for you?
Our investigation is well underway, but the culprit is not who we thought.
What do you mean?
We found Alba, but she was innocent. In fact, her captain used us and her father to scare her. It's because of us that she fled. But she never stole documents or tried to sell your secrets.
So, are you saying that the culprit is Reuben?
If this were not the case, why make up this story against Alba and use us like that?
I can't believe it. And to think that I believed his lies. However, he is a captain. I cannot condemn him without solid proof. And we have to find out who he was selling his journal to. Ask his crew, but stay discreet. It should not arouse suspicions. Anything else?
I need to be going. Until we meet again, Admiral.
Your Excellency, I am so pleased to see you again.
The pleasure is shared.
What can I do for you?
What do you think of your new captain?
He knows how to make people obey him, and runs a tight ship. What else is there to say? He's a captain. I'm only a cabin boy.
Does he get on well with Alba?
He was suspicious of her at first, but when he saw that she was trustworthy, he treated her like one of our own. But when she disappeared, he told us that she didn't have what it takes to be a Nod. He spoke of treason, that sort of thing. I imagine he regretted having trusted her at all. Anything else, Your Excellency?
I'm afraid I need to be going. Watch out for yourself.
Good day. What can I do for you?
What do you think about your new captain?
He is fair, decisive, and he certainly knows the sea. But he keeps his distance. As if he wasn't a member of our species. And since we got here, it's been worse. He seems... troubled. The slightest disagreement puts him over the edge. But never mind me. It's not my place to judge my captain. He's got responsibilities I can't fathom. Anything else?
I need to be off. Perhaps we'll meet later.
Farewell, then.
Hello. You need something?
What do you think about Captain Reuben?
Between you and me, I preferred Captain Vasco.
He's a good captain, but he lacks team spirit, if you know what I mean.
He's aloof. Doesn't get along with his crew.
You're still far from the mark. To him, we're nothing more than lackeys. The only one who gets a smile from time to time is the pretty Gretchen, one of the girls from the tavern. She scratches his itch. As soon as he can, he's off to the brothel. Must cost him a right fortune. He should be careful. A debt with a coin guard is like sailing near a storm.
If he's a loner, would make sense to need some company from time to time. And as captain, he must have the means.
Yes, you are certainly right. Well, none of my business. Anything else?
I need to go.
Smooth sailing.
Come closer, good people. Liqueur and wine from the continent. Tier for dear. Oh, it's you, Norman like a glove. Come on, make it for you.
Hello, my darlings. It's rare to see the upper crust in here. It must be my lucky day. Do you and yours want to have a good time? I could call a few friends.
I'm sorry, but I'm not here for that.
Really? What would you like, then?
I was told that Captain Reuben liked you a lot, and that you spend a lot of time with him.
He's one of my regulars, it's true. He always asks for me. It's because I'm the sweetest.
Does he confide in you?
Sorry, my dear. But what's between my clients and me is nobody's business.
How about a change of scenery? And a chance to work in a more luxurious environment?
Become a courtesan? But don't you need connections to get there?
I'm the legate of the congregation, and the governor's cousin. So?
Oh, I'm not stupid enough to miss such a chance. What do you want to know?
Did Reuben tell you about his relationship with his men and his superiors?
Oh, yes. He's always complaining about it. He was hoping for a promotion. He wanted to be appointed fleet commander. But they only changed his ship. And the crew is nowhere near his level, and his admiral despises him. He says everyone is unfair towards him and doesn't recognize his talents, and it has turned him bitter.
Have you noticed him change lately?
Yes. He's become impatient and anxious. He's become suspicious, too.
Have you noticed him change lately?
Yes.
Did he tell you about his plans?
Like everyone else, he likes building castles in the air. He told me that he would soon be someone very important and very rich. And that he would marry me. But they all say that.
Thank you, Gretchen. I'm done.
All that this young woman told us only confirms our suspicions. This man is a complete traitor. We should follow him after dark. We may be able to catch him in the act.
We can see everything from here.
Here he is, red-handed. Do you want us to arrest him?
We should first find out what he puts in the box. Let him finish. The way is clear. Now, let's take a look at this box. The captain and his buyer should meet here at nightfall. This must be where the exchange will take place.
Let's put the message back where we found it. Better no one knows we read it.
The Admiral will certainly want to know about our discovery.
Let's go.
Are your boots
Desarde, what can I do for you?
We know a little more. Reuben continues to use the dead drop, and has made an appointment with his buyer.
He has quite the nerve to continue using that box even though he knows you know about it.
He must have thought that we would not come back. The meeting is tonight. This could be a good time to get the proof we need. What do you think?
That's an excellent idea. I will come with you. I want to see this traitor fall with my own eyes.
You'll find all you need.
Hello, Your Excellency.
From this position, we'll be able to see the meeting discreetly.
Perfect. I can't wait to witness it. This traitor is going to find out exactly what it costs to make fun of us.
Men of the coin. Our greedy captain has gotten together with them.
The wretched traitor. How dare he sell us to lawless mercenaries?
May the enlightened protect you in this battle. To my health, and death to the others!
Your magic is running out. Take a potion.
You're running out of energy. Drink a potion.
Your magic is running out. Take a potion.
Ha! This traitor got what he deserved.
Admiral, you seem hurt.
It's nothing. Sorry to have charged like that. I got carried away. I couldn't bear to see this traitor sell his whole family for a few coins.
Do you want us to tend to your wound?
No, I'll go back to port and get back on my feet. Find the documents. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, the three of you.
From this position...
Perfect.
Men of the coin. Our greedy captain has gotten together with them.
The wretched traitor. How dare he sell us to lords mercenaries?
To my help! And death to the others! May the shattering god of our enemies! Move away! Things are about to get dicey! Your magic is running out! Take a potion!
I couldn't. Do you want? No, thank you. Desarde, what can I do for you?
I need to be going. From this position...
Men of the coin. Our greedy captain has gotten together with them.
The wretched traitor. How dare he sell us to lawless mercenaries?
May the Almighty protect me in this battle! To my help! And death to the others! May the shadow engulf our enemies! Move away! Things are about to get dicey! You're running out of energy! Drink a potion!
This traitor got what he deserved.
Admiral, you seem hurt.
It's nothing. Sorry to have charged like that. I got carried away. I couldn't bear to see this traitor sell his whole family for a few coins.
Do you want us to tend to your wound?
No, I'll go back to port and get back on my feet. Find the documents. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, the three of you.
He was ready to sell more than just his own knowledge. There are plans for machines and ships that he must have stolen from elsewhere. In addition to a substantial sum, Reuben is also going to obtain a major post on the continent.
Disgusting that someone could accept a deal like that. And we're surprised that some officers are not respected.
Everything is here. We'll give it to the Admiral tomorrow.
Desarde, what can I do for you?
How are your wounds?
I recovered fast. It was nothing. Did you find the documents he intended to sell?
Yes, here they are. But there was more than just his journal.
So, he lusted after a prestigious position. And what a salary! I see that our secrets are still worth a fortune. Thank you for bringing me all this. As for you, Alba, I owe you an apology. I should have trusted you.
You have nothing to do with it. The captain did everything to make me appear guilty.
No. If we put the same trust in the volunteers as in the Seaborns, this would never have happened. We owe you a lot, Desarde. I will not forget it. Nor will I forget the lesson. Be sure of it. You have my full gratitude. Anything else?
I need to be going. Until we meet again, Admiral.
I'm happy you came to find me. Allow me to apologize once again. I should have spoken to you sooner, told you what I knew, and not betrayed your trust.
Indeed, you should have.
As I said, I'd like to make up for it and help you find your family again.
How do you intend to do that?
As you now know, I knew your mother. We had trouble communicating at first, of course, but we gradually learned to understand one another. She was important in her village. Based on what I know today, I think she was a Donegad. She told me her name, Arelwyn, and told me about her family. She even gave me a pendant for you. You were only a child, so I gave it to Mrs. de Sade for safekeeping.
She gave me a necklace when I went to say goodbye to her. She said it was a family heirloom. Did my mother tell you the name of her village?
No. But I'm sure the Nauts can help us. They were the ones who took your mother to the continent.
It was such a long time ago. How can I find out if they remember?
The Nauts record everything down to the gentlest breeze. They must have written something in a logbook somewhere. So, do you want to try and find out where you come from? Do you want to find your relatives?
Yes. All this is so new to me. But I suppose so, yes.
Let's go then.
De Sade, what can I do for you?
I have come to talk to you about a personal matter.
After what I revealed to you, I was sure you would come back to find me. What would you like to know?
You told me that I was born on one of your ships, from a native captured on the island.
We'd like to know about this woman's origins.
I'm afraid I can't help you. I did not take part in those expeditions, and our old archives are far from here.
Is there no one on Tier who can help us? Please.
Very well. I do know an old captain who could perhaps help you out.
Where can he be found?
His ship is moored in the port of Hikmet, if I'm not mistaken. His name is Captain Lissandro.
Thank you for your help, Admiral.
De Sade?
Yes, Admiral?
Don't get too caught up in the past. That one in particular. Nothing good will come of it.
Whether or not we choose to get caught up in it, Admiral, the past always catches up with us. Sadly, I'm paying the price of this. Let us thank the Enlightened that a captain who took part in these expeditions is right here on the island.
It is indeed a stroke of luck. I hope he remembers my mother.
Do not worry. If his memory fails him, he may have kept his diary from that time.
Hello there. My name is de Sade. I'm the legate of the merchant congregation.
I am Captain Lissandro. Pleased to meet you. I don't believe I've had the pleasure before. Yet your face seems familiar. How odd. Well, what can I do for you?
Do you know this port well?
Oh, I know it all right. I've been mooring my ship here for over 15 years. It's a safe harbor, well protected from the winds and away from the reefs.
And before that?
Before? I don't really know what you mean. Before, there was nothing but the coast itself, I imagine.
Did you know the island before all the colonists arrived?
Yes. Now that's going back a bit. And it isn't a topic for somebody who isn't one of our own.
So tell me what it was like when the Alliance first began to settle here.
It was still wild, dangerous, and very beautiful. And all that has changed now.
Did you see the city being built?
Almost before my very eyes. I saw it grow as fast as you're breathing right now. But it was barely more than a port and a couple of huts surrounded by forest in the beginning. And then the trees began to come down, and the houses began to sprout up. It happened at a crazy pace, but I'm not sure that many good things came of all that change.
Admiral Cabral advised me to speak to you about a matter of some concern to me.
The Admiral? Coming from a legate, I should have expected that. So?
You're the only one on this island that can help me.
Really? Oh, I think I understand. That's why your face looked familiar. The congregation is good at keeping its secrets, isn't it? This story is not a new one.
25 years. 25 years since the Nauts brought a woman who was captured on this island to Serene.
I remember, and yet it wasn't the first time. But on that occasion, a child was born.
So you can understand why we'd like to learn where this captive came from.
Yes, yes. I have seen more than a few Nauts looking for their parents. But what have you got to do with all this?
I met that woman in Serene. I got to know her well.
Listen, it's not that I don't want to help you, but my memory is no longer what it was. I wasn't the captain at the time. I wasn't the one who decided where we moored the ship. So I don't see how I can help you find out where this woman came from.
You said it yourself, Captain. You've come across more than a few Nauts looking for their parents. Sea-born, sea-given. All of them were torn from their roots, even if they found a new family. And you've clearly had the same experience.
Absolutely. You are indeed the child that was born on our ship. You speak like one of our own. Very well. I need to look in my old logbooks. I'm sure I'll find something. Wait for me here. I'll be an hour at the most. Here it is. I found my old logbook. There's a passage in it that would probably interest you. Your mother came from a village on the plains in the southeast of the island. I'm talking about a place where the bones of the whale are visible from the coast. I believe the natives call it Vignamri.
Thank you for this information, Captain.
It's nothing. I'm getting sentimental in my old age. Good luck to you.
So here you are on the verge of discovering your mother's village, of finding your own people. How do you feel?
I don't really know. I'm a little lost, I suppose. All of this is so new to me.
I understand. Mrs. de Sade was loving. She raised you with tenderness. And today you learn she is not your real mother. I'm sorry.
And death to the others!
Your magic is running out. Take a potion. May the shadow engulf our enemies.
I can't hold on much longer! Move away! Things are about to get dicey!
fairy flasks, you'll find the quintessence of alchemy. The best potions and the most efficient concoctions. All nice.
To what do I owe the pleasure of your visit?
I recently found out that my mother came from your village.
Your mother was from Vignamri? Now I understand why your face seems so familiar to me.
Indeed. She was captured before my birth and sent to the continent.
She was called Arelwyn. Did you know her?
Of course. Everyone here remembers her kidnapping.
Could you tell me more about that?
I was not the head of the clan back then. It was a very long time ago, but I remember the village Denegad. Kidnapped by the people of the sea. All our warriors set off to her rescue. But it was all in vain. Most of them died, including the one she loved. It was a dark day, in which our village lost its knowledge and strength in one blow.
So my father died too. Do you know if any members of my family are still alive?
Yes, Slan, your mother's sister. She then became our Donegad. She was never able to match her sister's talent. Too much knowledge had been lost. Arelwyn was a renowned healer across all of Tearfradi. Taking her place was not an easy task.
It's not surprising that she was of interest to the congregation. They probably hoped she could help them find a cure for the Malachor. But all alone, far from the island. She was just a young, frightened woman who had lost all her powers.
Do you know where I can find my aunt?
You could try her house, but she's rarely there. She is an elderly woman now, and very much enjoys her own company. She doesn't speak much to me. But others here can probably tell you where to find her.
Thank you, Ulan.
Anything else?
Nothing. I must go.
What do you think of the chief of your village?
He seems quite friendly, compared to the others we've run into.
A bit too friendly, if you ask me. A little too concerned with pleasing the settlers.
And do you think that's a bad thing?
He reminds me of myself when I was younger. And that's not a compliment. My fear is that he serves his own ambition. And this is often done at the expense of others. There's no one here. Let's go and ask the inhabitants of the village if they know where to find her.
The islanders protect their Donegad. I don't know if they'll speak to some Renaigse.
Don't forget, you are one of them after all.
Hello.
Renaigse. Do you need help, Renaigse?
Actually, yes. I am looking for the village Donegad.
Oh. And what do you want from her?
Ulan told me that she could help me to find someone.
Ulan must have wanted to play a dirty trick on you. There's no love lost between Ulan and the Donegad. She says that he loves the people from your island too much. But Ulan saved our village. Anyway, if you want to find her, try heading towards the western plains. I am not sure if she is there right now, but she likes going for walks there.
I am extremely grateful.
It looks like she...
Maybe enlightened protect. To the other!
How do you feel, madam?
Well, thank you for stepping in. I don't understand what has happened. Usually these animals accept me. Something must have frightened them.
We are glad we arrived at the right time. We would have been very upset if something had happened to you.
Excuse me, but are you Slan? The Donegad of Vignamri?
Yes, that's me. Were you looking for me?
Yes, we were. If you would allow us, we'd like to accompany you and tell our story along the way.
Very well. I will walk by your side.
This is the story we have pieced together.
I just can't believe it. Yet, if I think about it, your face reminds me of hers.
My mother, or better, the woman who raised me, gave me this necklace.
A Relwyn gave it to me, to give to her child, and I passed it on to Mrs. de Sade.
It looks familiar. Your father had given it to your mother when they bound. It's good that you are wearing it today. My poor beloved Relwyn, who died far away from us all, and divorced Tiersay. I still miss her so much.
She wanted me to help her die. But I was unable to do such a thing. Someone would have figured it out. I would have been sent back to Ptolemy, and I would have lost everything. So I watched her suffer. And one day she died.
Petrus, I cannot hold it against you for letting her live.
No, you don't understand. I loved her. I loved her, and I didn't even have the strength to end her suffering. She's the only woman I've ever loved.
I never would have guessed.
Everyone loved Relwyn. She was marvelous. You cannot blame yourself, man of the light. What's more, you brought me her child. For that alone, she would forgive you if she were among us. All is well now. The child of Tia Fradi has returned home, and with him, the spirit of his mother. You are home, my Duktaram. Welcome.
Petrus, I wanted to thank you.
Thank me? Despite everything you know about me?
You may have been a bit cowardly in the past, to the point of letting the woman you loved suffer. You were manipulative and you lied to everyone, including yourself. But thanks to what you've told me, I've been able to find my family and my origins. And for that, I thank you.
My child. What you're saying touches me more than you can imagine. At least I've done something good for once in my deceitful life. For you and for her. I hope the Enlightened will remember this when I stand before him.
astounding place.
It is the village of Eden the Cardinal Mother told you about. The place where natives and priests live together. I must admit that I'm curious to see it.
All that's left to do is find Father Justinius.
Welcome to Eden, the lighthouse of faith, harmony, and civilization in these wild lands.
Thank you. Desardet. I am the legate of the merchant congregation.
And I am Father Justinius. Delighted. And what may I do for you?
The Mother Cardinal has asked me to investigate the theft of these tablets you discovered.
That's excellent news. The loss of the tablets is a catastrophe. We have to find them at all costs. If you want to learn more about these tablets, you should go ask Sister Eugenia. She supervises the theologians who discovered them, and were also guarding them. You should find her a bit further in the village, with her colleagues.
Who are the suspects of this theft?
The heretical brutes of the village of Vedlug most likely had a hand in this. They must have wanted to please the demons they worship by stealing the holy word from us.
How could they have learned of the tablet's existence?
Perhaps the demons are giving them this power. Unless one of the natives living in the village innocently mentioned them. They are so naive. Either way, I am certain that the heretics are involved in this matter.
I must leave you. Goodbye.
May the enlightened always keep you in their divine blessing.
I wonder what really happened when the missionaries came to settle here.
It all seems a bit too convenient. If we find out some information about the history of Eden, maybe we'll change our view on things. The theft of the relic is probably not a coincidence.
I am busy. If you have questions, go see Sister Eugenia. She's our supervisor.
Do you have any ideas about who stole the tablet?
Some of the village savages helped us during the search. Perhaps they are behind all of this. There was a particular woman who seemed to want us to be there. I don't remember her name, though.
If you are saying that these tablets bear writings from the very hand of our holy founder, then we must find them. Without them, all our research to trace the life of St. Matthias on this island is doomed to failure. If these savages have stolen them, we will have to take them back, by force if necessary.
Hello. The Mother Cardinal asked me to help you find the tablets that were stolen. Can I ask you some questions?
Of course. But hurry, I have a lot to do.
I talked to Father Justinius. He told me that you were supervising the theologians here.
Indeed. It is under my supervision that the research on St. Matthias is conducted.
Whom do you suspect of being the thief?
Alas. I'm afraid there are many suspects. These tablets are priceless relics. Some settlers may have fallen prey to the lure of profit. The heretical natives of Vedlug may have wanted to take them away from us. Or it could have been vengeance by those who had to leave the village.
Where were the tablets the night they were stolen?
We were keeping them in one of the village's shacks. We intended to bring them to San Matthias later. But first, we wanted to examine them in order to obtain as much information as possible. You can go and take a look in the shack if you want to, but I couldn't find any traces of forced entry.
I imagine that someone was keeping watch over them.
Of course, we took turns guarding the shack. But some of us can't have taken the task that seriously. If I remember correctly, it was Brother Virgil who was guarding them that night.
Well, thank you for these pieces of information.
I am the one who should be thanking you. Especially if you manage to retrieve the tablets for us.
The Mother Cardinal told me that this village had been developed on the basis of St. Lucius's writings. Are you one of the theologians who helped in its creation?
Yes. I was sent here to confirm that this place is indeed the one described in the writings, and then I stayed.
What was the reaction of the natives when you arrived here?
Most of them were not in favor of us living amongst them. They were afraid we might chase them out of their own village. And there were even more protests once we started talking about searching for traces of Saint Matthias. I suppose they thought we would destroy all of their raised stones and other places of superstition.
Were there any confrontations with the natives?
Yes. The warriors of the village attacked us. The Ordo Luminous actually had to intervene. The Inquisition managed to make them run away. The islanders tried to attack again with the support of Vedlug, but we stood our ground. And when Lur, the chief of the village, finally accepted our presence, things calmed down.
Thank you. This information will certainly prove to be useful. Thank you. I will let you work. Greetings. Desarde. I'm handling the investigation into the theft of the tablets. Sister Eugenia told me to talk to you.
I'm Brother Virgil. What would you like to know?
According to your colleague, you were the one in charge of guarding the tablets on the night of the theft. Is that right?
Indeed.
What can you tell me about that night? Did you hear or see anything?
No, nothing in particular. The night was quiet, and then the morning after, we saw they were gone.
Someone had to enter the shack to steal the tablets. How did that happen?
I have no idea. The door was closed in the morning, and the lock was intact.
Do you suspect anyone in particular?
Not really. What I can tell you for sure is it is not one of us.
Well, Sister Eugenia did tell me that the tablets were priceless.
Of course. But our motivation is not the lure of profit. All that matters to us is their value as proof, not the money we could make out of them.
Do you think the culprit could be a native?
Well, since none of us did it, it seems obvious. There aren't many other settlers around here. And the natives knew of the existence of these tablets before we found them. They were attached to them too, in their own way.
They are the ones who led you to them.
Well, we conducted the research, but they helped us find where they were hidden. Some inhabitants of the village are still giving us a hand with our work.
Well, thank you. I will investigate where the theft took place.
As you wish. But you won't find anything there. And why does it matter, anyway? There were witnesses to the discovery of these tablets. We have all the proof we need. And that's all that matters.
What do you mean?
Now we can prove Saint Matthias lived here. Our actions on this island are justified. To keep rummaging the way Sister Eugenia does will only create more tensions with the natives.
I was not expecting a theologian to say such things. Have you been in Eden for a long time?
2 months, approximately. Back then, there were still some pagan natives in the village. I joined Sister Eugenia's team with some of my colleagues, so we could give them a fresh outlook on things. We arrived straight from Ptolemy, hoping to study some new texts. But once we were here, I understood that my real mission was with the islanders. We must bring the light to this island.
You talked about a mission with the natives. What did you mean by that?
I may be under the command of Sister Eugenia here, but my superior is Bishop Domitius. Our mission is to banish pagan cults and convert the entire population to the light. The island belongs to Saint Matthias, and therefore to Ptolemy, since the god of light offered it to our founder.
If your superior's Domitius, you are a member of the Ordo Luminis. I did not expect to find one of its members side by side with the missionaries. They usually do not get along.
The Order goes everywhere the light needs to be revealed.
You have a very unique way of seeing things. I doubt everyone accepts it. How are your relations with the natives?
When I arrived, we were still trying to obtain information from them about St. Matthias. But they were very reluctant to give us any answers. We were also trying to educate them. Our attempts eventually made some of the inhabitants of the village react badly. Most stubborn against our teachings, the warriors, and the marked. The ones the natives call the Onomanawi. They eventually left, and it has proved nothing but a blessing for us. I would like to go back to work now, if you don't mind.
Of course. I will leave you to your work. Goodbye. Father.
I'm glad to see you, my child. What can I do for you?
Tell me about how you created this village.
We did not create it from the ground up. It was built around an existing native village. The islanders called it Vigsanegad, which translates to the Village of the Old Sage. We saw it as a sign. The natives had probably chosen this name in memory of St. Matthias, and everything here fit the description of St. Lucius. The discovery of the tablets proved us right. So, we decided to rebuild our Eden here, in the spirit of peace and harmony which is described in the scriptures.
Why share this village with the natives?
To replicate and resume the work of our founder, of course. If he came here and managed to convert the natives, then it is our duty to do the same thing. By living side by side with them, it is much easier for us to pass on our teachings.
How well do you get along with the natives who live here?
Very well, of course. Especially since those who opposed our presence left.
Left? To go where?
Oh, to other villages, I imagine. Does it even matter? Those who stayed are on the path of enlightenment. Some of their legends must have been about St. Matthias. That helped to convince them.
And how well have neighboring villages welcomed you?
With some reluctance, to be perfectly honest. So, we sent them missionaries. There are still frequent conflicts with the village of Vedlug, a highly violent village of heretics. But the other villages, the more peaceful ones, are slowly starting to listen to the sacred word.
There is something strange here.
It often takes time for the people of the continent to get used to our paradise, but I am sure you will come to appreciate it.
I must leave you. Goodbye.
May the enlightened always keep you in their divine blessing.
Hello. I am Lair, the village leader. Well, I was the leader of this village.
Hello. De Sardet. I'm the legate of the merchant congregation.
There are Onol Menawi among the Logead Blau. I did not know that. What do you want from me?
I have heard a lot of things about this village of Eden, but I'd like to hear your version.
I'm not sure I have the answers to all of your questions, but I'll try.
Tell me about the arrival of the people of Thélème and how you received them.
The priests were roaming around the village. They were saying that it was the place where their saint had lived. They were asking questions, talking about the Lloyd and all these things. One morning they were building houses next to ours. And we had new neighbors.
The priests told me that they had managed to convert you. How did that happen?
As long as we refused to listen to them, they were violent, and they destroyed some of our sanctuaries. So we let them talk. And now that they think that we love their god, they leave us alone. Some of the things they say are beautiful, and their magic is impressive. But we do not forget our spirits.
One of the theologians told me that you had helped them in their research.
They wanted to find tracks of the old sage, of the one they call Saint Matthäus, and they were rummaging through everything. Our Donegad did not want to tell them anything, because the old sage is sacred here. But since they violently interrogated everyone, I thought it wise to guide them to the place where the stones were.
What happened to your warriors? Why did they have to leave the village?
They did not accept the presence of the priests and their questions. They tried to retake the village. They even asked Deirdre, the chief of Vedlug, for her help. So, the priests called the Soul Lasser, the Burning Suns, and they killed many of them. I asked for peace, and the others left us. They wanted to join Vedlug. Perhaps they have done so.
Aren't you angry after all that happened?
No. I mourn those who died, of course, and the Vorstyrent. But this village may be our opportunity.
Your opportunity for what?
For the Renaigse to understand who we are. Not savages, nor monsters, but men, perhaps wiser than they are.
I have to go.
Like so many others.
I knew that the story would be more complex than we've been told.
I find it regrettable that my colleagues aren't more honest when it comes to history. Nothing solid has ever been built on lies.
Either way, the resentment here is strong enough for a theft to occur. There's only one entrance, and the door shows no evidence of a break-in.
Can't believe it. This brother Virgil was unforgivably neglectful. Idiot must have fallen asleep, and then our thieves only had to take the keys from him.
It's very likely that that's what happened, but someone must have informed them. It can't be a coincidence that they decided to steal it during the watch of the only neglectful guard.
It has to be someone in the village. If we find them, there's a chance we can retrieve the relics.
We know that this theft could be an act of vengeance by the natives who were forced to leave here. They must still have allies in the village. Family or friends. We should go talk to the chief of the natives. He will certainly know who's close to the exiles, and enough about the researchers to inform them.
You have returned on Manawi. Do you need something else?
I think I know who stole the tablets.
Really?
I believe those who were exiled from your village seek vengeance because the missionaries forced them to leave. They must have taken the tablets with the help of someone else who stayed here.
You may be right, but you may also be wrong.
You do well to tell me what you know. Once the priests have reached the same conclusions as I have, how do you think they will interrogate you?
You're probably right. The Inquisitors would come back, and my people would suffer. I do not want to break the peace that I did all I could to make. I think the name of the woman you are looking for is Vindwal. She helps the priests who seek the old sage.
If she's helping the priests, why would she betray them now?
Her son is one of the warriors who had to leave the village. He is filled with anger and fury. If you go talk to her, please, do not hurt her. She is but a mother who acted according to her son's wishes.
I have no intention of hurting her. But things may not be so simple when it comes to her son. I have to go.
Like so many others.
Greetings. Are you Vindwal?
Bertia Tumad. Yes, that is me. What do you want?
What can you tell me about Lair, your former leader?
He is a man of peace. Some people dislike him, not me. Everything he did to save the village. But I think the Mind Shakers made him forget what we are. He almost speaks like them now.
Listen, I know you helped the exiles to steal the tablets of St. Matthias.
No, this is not true. It wasn't me.
There's no point in denying it. I know you did it for your son who had to leave the village.
If you know that, then you know that I don't have the tablets. So what do you want from me?
The only means of alleviating the situation with Thélème is to give the priests their tablets back. So if you do not want your son to suffer their wrath, it would be best if I could retrieve them discreetly.
Bran and the rest of the exiles are hiding in the woods, beyond the stone circle. If you want to take the tablets away from them without being seen, do not take the path on the left. It is riddled with traps. And please, do not hurt my son.
In this battle. Move away! Things are about to get dicey!
Here's the place that Vindwal indicated. The exiles must be near.
These people have been banished already. There's no need to add death to their list of punishments. Let's try not to fight them.
Don't worry, we'll be discreet.
In that case, we should avoid taking the left path. If I remember correctly what that woman said, it's booby-trapped.
Do it! What are you doing here?
I'm not here to fight you, but I must retrieve the tablets of Saint Matthias.
What? How do you know we have them? And how? Not Freddy. We will not give them back! We lost our homes and families, so the priests lose their sacred stones.
I know that you are seeking vengeance, but the priests will not be the only ones to suffer the consequences of your actions. Your mother helped you, and once they find out about it, she will pay the price in your place. Is that what you want?
No. She only told us which night we could come. They have no right to punish her for this.
I doubt the Ordo Luminis will care. They will need someone to take the blame, and she's the obvious choice.
Very well. Take the stones and leave. All that's left to do is to rejoin the Donea Exregao.
What are you doing here?
I was worried for my son. I wanted to make sure that everything was fine.
Don't worry, all is well. I managed to convince him to give me the tablets.
Ad Loredar, I did not believe my son to be so reasonable. You are giving me hope. I will go see him and tell him to find another clan. A place to welcome him.
I retrieved your relics.
Thank you. Thank you immensely. Thanks to them, we will be able to continue our research on St. Matthias.
I am curious to know who is responsible for this theft. The culprit must be brought to justice.
I do not want to point the finger at anyone. You have your relics back, and that's the only thing that matters.
Your indulgence honors you. But how can we be certain that these thieves will not strike again if they are not punished?
A good start would be to keep a better watch on the priceless treasures that you find.
In any case, you would do well to keep a better watch on your discoveries in the future. You should also pay more attention to those who share this village with you. This theft would never have happened had you truly been in harmony with the natives.
But that is precisely what we desire more than anything. We may have been a bit clumsy in the beginning, but we'll make sure to improve things in the future. You really were a great help. I would be most grateful if you agreed to continue helping us.
I might come back at some point, but alas, I am very busy.
Naturally. Either way, we are certainly capable of continuing our research without you.
Actually, I must go back to my work. Our next expedition must depart as soon as possible.
Your next expedition?
Our brave researchers must continue to follow the tracks of our founder on this island. In the meantime, here, take this as a token of gratitude for the help you gave us.
Thank you. I hope your expedition will be a success.
I'm sorry. I don't have time to talk.
Father.
I'm glad to see you, my child. What can I do for you?
I must leave.
May the enlightened...
May the enlightened protect me in this battle. And death to the others! May the shadow engulf our enemies. Your magic is running out. Take a potion. Move away. Things are about to get dicey.
like it, love.
We'll make it for you.
This arrest is good news. Let's find the captain.
Ah, Your Excellency. I was talking about your exploits to Captain Ulrich.
Your Excellency?
Captain, Lieutenant, Quartermaster Manfred informed me that you had made several arrests.
Indeed. Lieutenant Ermelind confessed, which enabled us to flush out most of the gang.
I can't quite believe that all the arrested men are involved in this case. I know many of them, and could have sworn they were honorable people.
I'm sorry, Captain. I understand. It's a shock. We were all sure that our comrades would never be involved in this kind of thing.
Will you continue the investigation?
Of course. We can't stop our research until we've completely dismantled this organization.
Lieutenant Alexander was asking me to transfer him to New Serene, to be a part of the investigation there.
To manage it, if you allow it, my captain. I was honored to participate in the interrogations of Lieutenant Ermelind, and to be able to arrest all these criminals. I would not want to leave things half-finished.
As I told you, Lieutenant, I can't approve the transfer of an officer from another garrison. I must refer to the commander.
In any case, we're most grateful for your help. But we can now bring this investigation to an end without you.
I see. What goes on in the Guard is the Guard's own business.
It's a bit like that, yes. We can't let the actions of a small group compromise the reputation of the whole Guard.
You forget, once again, that you have not yet obtained your transfer, Lieutenant. In the meantime, please be dismissed.
At your orders, Captain. Goodbye, Your Excellency.
This brazen lieutenant is bordering on insubordination.
I'm sorry you had to hear this call to order. This lieutenant is inclined to forget who he's speaking to.
It must be the enthusiasm of youth.
It's possible. In any case, and contrary to what he said, we will still need your help.
Why's that?
Lieutenant Alexander claims that Ermelin's confession allowed him to arrest all these men. But I attended one of these interrogations, and all she talked about was a secret camp. The one in which Torsten's recruits received their special instruction for the coup d'etat.
A place I remember all too well.
I'm sure, Kurt. And I'm sorry for that. If I understood correctly, this place was taken back and used by the criminal organization. But our lieutenant did not mention it, which surprised me, and led me to doubt his sincerity. Perhaps Alexander failed to report it to increase his prestige later.
But he could have another motive. So you would like us to go there?
Indeed. And I'd like to accompany you. I am no longer a field officer, but I still know how to hold my own. And I want to see this case with my own eyes. You know the place, so you will be my guide.
Very well, Captain. You can count on me.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I will get going right away. Will you come with me?
Yes, I'm ready. Let's hurry.
We're almost there.
How would you like to proceed, Captain?
By the book. We'll go through the whole camp, neutralizing any threat.
Protect me in this battle. To my help. And death to the others! Your magic is running out. Take a potion.
They barricaded themselves inside.
It's blocked.
May the enlightened protect me in this battle.
To my help! And death to the others!
May the shadow engulf our enemies. May the enlightened protect me in this battle.
To my help! And death to the others!
Move away! May the enlightened protect me in this battle. Your magic is running out. Take a potion.
To my health! And death to the others! To my health! And death to the others!
You're running out of energy. Drink a potion.
To my...
It's Sergeant Franz. Poor man. He paid dearly for the help he gave us.
He was beaten to death.
Quartermaster Herbert ordered him to accompany Lieutenant Alexander to answer Manfred's questions, but he never made it to New Serene.
I was sure that the lieutenant was not genuine. He must be involved.
May the shadow engulf our enemies!
Move away! Things are about to get dicey!
Protect me in this battle!
To my help! And death!
Death to the others!
It looks like poison. This document talks about eliminating the witnesses to the case.
Manfred and us are definitely on that list. Lieutenant Klaus, so you are part of this disgusting plot.
Lay down your weapons, Lieutenant. Any resistance is futile. Your troops have been decimated.
I will not surrender, Your Excellency. Death is sweeter than the price of treason.
If you speak, we will be lenient.
You, maybe, but Egon, I doubt it. Farewell.
He's poisoned.
The plague. I'd have liked to have questioned that traitor.
These letters are signed by Egon. We must go to the office of the leader of these criminals.
We could study the handwriting to find out who's behind this pseudonym. We did a good job, Your Excellency. Egon will never come back from a hit like this.
Certainly. But we know that there are still criminals amongst your troops, including their leader.
We know that Lieutenant Alexander is involved in all this. The sergeant's body, and the fact that he didn't tell us about this camp, are telltale signs. Perhaps he will be able to provide us with a lead. Otherwise, we still have these letters.
Remember that we are targets. Just like Manfred, we will have to stay alert.
You are right. Let's get back to New Serene as soon as possible. You will hand over the evidence to Quartermaster Manfred and assure yourself of his safety. I will go and ask our insolent lieutenant for an explanation.
gentlemen, are we? Come and... Bertir to mud. Oh no. Do you want to see... You will always be welcome here.
Your Excellency, I wasn't sure I'd see you alive again.
How did you know we were here? Did the captain tell you?
He was arrested while coming back here. Lieutenant Alexander said he was finally reported by his accomplices.
That lieutenant has some nerve. We know he's involved. We found the body of the sergeant who was to accompany him here. He got rid of him to punish him for helping us, or to stop him from revealing more. We also found this document saying that everyone who knows about the case should be eliminated. You're in danger, and they've already found a way to get rid of the captain.
Most of the men who were loyal to him are in jail. I can't do anything without help. I've been trying to get the commander. If anybody can restore order to all of this, she can.
Here, take this evidence and show it to her.
Alas, there's nothing in there that clearly indicates who Egon is.
The recent actions of Lieutenant Alexander suggest that he's the brains behind this operation. And we only have to compare his handwriting with these letters to be sure.
I'm going to join the commander, but you should intervene. I'm afraid he'll get rid of the captain.
Desart, Your Excellency! What a joy to see you again. We finally stopped Egon. The captain will be happy.
Naturally, and that is why you were surrounded by the men I apprehended. We visited your secret camp and found the body of poor Sergeant Franz, who, in spite of his death, continues to betray you. You are a member of this organization, Lieutenant. And when we compare your handwriting to the letters we have seized, it wouldn't surprise me to discover that Egon is none other than you.
We prepared a discreet death for you, worthy of your uncle's court. A little poison, and our troublesome diplomat would have been out of the way. But since you leave us with no choice, finish them.
It'll be a real pleasure.
Finally, our revenge has come.
Maybe enlightenment protect me in this battle. To my help! And death to the others! I am wounded! Green blood!
You will regret.
Desart!
Now we've and when it wouldn't.
We've little, but since
Finally.
Maybe enlightenment protect me in this battle. To my help! And death to the others! I am wounded. Maybe enlightenment come to my help. Move away! Things are about to get dicey!
Now we've we prepared little poor, but since you
It'll be a
Finally.
Maybe enlightenment protect me in this battle. To my help!
Let's see what you take.
Death to the others! The shadow engulf our enemies.
Now,
We put still.
May the Enlightened protect me in this battle! May the shadow engulf our enemies! Careful, my child! You need healing! Move away! Things are about to get dicey! Your magic is running out! Take a potion! Drink a potion! May the shadow engulf our enemies!
No, no, no! Why did you have to stick your nose in our business?
If you had not been so careless, so eager to get rich and climb to the top, maybe we would never have discovered your operations. Surrender, Alexander. Unless you prefer Egon.
Let me go! I could make you rich.
I doubt that the commander would find that arrangement acceptable.
Wretches!
I've been waiting to put this pathetic scoundrel in a hole for a long time. May I?
Be my guest, Kurt.
Your Excellency, Lieutenant Alexander was court-martialed and will soon be executed.
You have my gratitude, Your Excellency. Without you, this assassin would have probably strangled me in prison.
Manfred gave me all the evidence you gathered, and told me about the case. I'm just sorry he didn't tell me about it sooner.
My apologies, Commander. But you've been so busy since starting your new position. I never thought the case would be so big.
Be that as it may, the high-ranking culprits have been punished, and the foot soldiers will be sent back to the continent. A few months on the front should bring them back to reality. We owe you so much, Your Excellency. Without you, the Guard would probably be nothing more than a band of brigands. I am extremely grateful. I will not forget what you did for us.
Don't mention it, Commander. Hello, Commander.
Lady Disa, how can I be of service to you?
Hello, Your Excellency. What can I do for you?
No.
May the Enlightened protect me in this battle! To my help! And death to the others! Oh, it's you on all
This valley is vast. We should get to a vantage point if we want to find this expedition.
To my help! And death to the others! Protect me in this battle! Move away! Things are about to get dicey! Our enemies! Your magic is running out! Take a potion!
Over there. Tents. This must be the expedition's camp.
A camp here? In the open wind? It was definitely set up by scholars.
Signs of combat. They were attacked. By the look of the tents and the campfire, it dates back several days. It seems that they were taken prisoner. I don't see any bodies. No weapon leaves this sort of marking. Perhaps they're wielding magic.
Magic is the miracle of the enlightened. This bears resemblance with the sorcery of the natives.
Not surprising, but not enough to help us locate precisely where the scholars are now.
I agree. This is the consequence of the tragic and disgusting practices of the Bridge. Every native in their territory has revolted. We cannot know which particular clan is guilty.
This looks like scientific equipment. This must be the Lost Expedition's campsite. This looks like the journal of a naturalist. There are sketches of flora and fauna. There is no doubt. We are definitely on the trail of the Lost Expedition. It seems that one of the team kept a distance from the others. Let's see what we can discover. A trail of blood. That cannot be good. Follow it.
Protect me in this battle! My help! And death to the others! Overshadowing our enemies! Your magic is running out! Take a potion! May the shadow engulf our enemies!
More blood. We are on the right path. Keep going. A corpse. The clothes cannot be mistaken. It is a scholar of the Bridge Alliance. From the looks of him, I would say he's been dead for days, as we already thought. This isn't the woman whose journal we found. There is still a chance that she remains alive.
This man was unarmed. And from the position of his body, I would say he was fleeing. It is not honor that motivates them. Maybe it was vengeance.
I'll search the body. We might find something to help us understand. Here is the isolated camp mentioned in the journal. Everything is in order, but the inhabitants are no longer here. Its position would have allowed them to escape the attack.
Isolated. Discreet. Perfect visibility. Great choice.
It is a journal, that of a woman from the expedition, a certain Afra. She speaks of their research and relates here that she felt watched. She feared an attack was brewing. I believe she was right. The writing stops in mid-sentence.
A woman with sharp eyes. They might have saved her life.
We must follow the tracks of the attack. They will surely lead us to the party of intrepid scholars.
She may be part of the Alliance, but I can't help feeling bad about what happened to this woman. According to what she wrote, her attackers must have come from the swamp. We should follow their tracks.
Look, those are islanders. They might be from the clan that attacked the Bridger camp. Let's get closer.
Renaise!
We won't let you take us. We will not kneel down without a fight.
Wait. We have no desire to fight you. We only want to find the Lion Sages. They are not warriors. but their chief is ready to send an army of warriors to liberate them. If you help us bring them back, you will save your tribe from a costly battle in lives.
He speaks truly. Look, one of them is already eager to bring lion warriors back to us.
All we wanted was for them to tell us where our brothers are being kept.
What good is this if we must leave our camp behind? Very well. Stay away from the main entrance. Our guards will not welcome your arrival.
Pass around. There is a smaller entrance hidden there. The lions are kept in a home in ruins.
There must be a key somewhere to open the door, but I know not where it is kept.
I'm not here to kill you.
Tell me then, what is your intended purpose?
We were sent to look for you.
Apologies, but allow me to express my doubts.
After this little swim, you could always try to pull the trigger.
Who sent you to find me?
We were not looking for you in particular, but the entire expedition. It was Governor Burham who asked us to find you. He is worried about you. You haven't been reporting.
You should have said that straight away. I must admit, I was hoping for a rescue. Of a different nature. Do you have a name?
De Sardet. I'm from the congregation.
The new governor's cousin. Who wears an islander face. I've heard stories about you. And them?
Bishop Petrus, if our young friend hadn't insisted on coming here, I would have gladly let you rot in this marsh.
Behold the charity of the enlightened, huh?
Kurt. Simply Kurt. I protect our excellency's back. And if one of your violent fits overcomes you, rescue party or not, I will kill you.
This is a rather odd group. I am Afra, a scholar from the Bridge Alliance. It is rather rare to find me rolling in the marshes. I study the fauna and flora of this isle. I should imagine you have many questions.
We saw the site where you were attacked. What exactly happened?
We were taken by surprise. One moment everything was calm, and the next a war party of natives fell upon us. I had an uneasy feeling and kept myself apart, but when I heard my fellow scholars' shouts, I rushed over. Most of my companions are incapable of defending themselves, and we didn't have guards to protect us. One of them tried to flee, but they brought him down. We decided to give ourselves up to avoid a massacre.
What has happened since the attack? How long have you been in these marshes?
We were taken prisoner and were brought to a village nearby. I was able to escape while the others were taken to a house that they use as a prison. I wanted to join the Bridge Alliance frontier post not far from here, but I wasn't able. So I doubled back to keep watch of the village from a distance. I have been hoping to find a way to free my companions, without any success so far.
Have you made progress in your search for a cure?
We were studying some quite remarkable plants when we were attacked. The region is rife in unknown and novel species. Some seem incredibly promising. The local shamans know all these plants and they use them in their remedies. If only we had been able to converse with them rather than getting ourselves captured.
Could you lead us to the village where your colleagues are being held prisoner?
Certainly. We are, oh, so very close. And I fully intend to participate in this rescue. I'm not one to sit around and twiddle thumbs.
This is where the natives took your colleagues?
Yes, it is here. These ruins are being used as a camp by the native raiders.
There are so many of them. Better to remain discreet.
I have spied on the camp and discovered where my colleagues are being held. They are being kept in the old walls of the main ruin. I would rather avoid unwarranted deaths. We should wait until nightfall and look around the camp to find a more discreet way to get inside. I fled as they were about to lock my companions inside a cell. We're going to need a key.
The prison guards will certainly have the key.
Protect me in this battle! To my health! And death to the others!
Watch out! Grenade!
me? May the shadow engulf our enemies! Move away! Things are about to get dicey! Your magic is running out! Take a potion!
I fled as they were about to lock my companions inside a cell. We're going to need a key.
The prison guards will certainly have the key.
locked. I don't have the key.
Is that you? Come quickly. We don't have much time. Thank you for your help.
Do not thank me yet. We are still in a shipload of danger.
Find a way to get out of this valley without putting my companions in danger.
Maybe enlightened protect me in this battle. And death to the others!
Trokarid, mercy. You have defeated us. Spare us our lives.
If you spare them, they will only hunt us down until we are all dead.
No, you have our word. We have been bested. We will let you move on in peace.
How can we trust you? You attacked our camp when we were not even armed.
They are savages. They had us caged like beasts.
We only sought to learn where you have caged our people.
Are you really going to massacre these helpless men to answer the demands of those mischievous scientists?
Very well. Leave, and I hope you keep your word.
Thank you, Onol Manawi. I have spoken, and I will honor my words, Kwa awalam seg.
We are no longer in danger. Thank you for your help, Desade.
I must admit, the reasons for my being here are not entirely selfless. Your research to find a remedy against the Malachor could save many lives in our cities as well.
You speak like a true woman of science. Cut to the point. Then you'll be thrilled. Your heroic efforts to save us from those savages could help. We've made a discovery.
Is that right? In that case, we need to speak with Governor Burham immediately.
Very well. I'll accompany you.
Let's be off.
Lady de Sade, and our expedition. I thank you sincerely for having brought them back, Your Excellency. You are a providential woman.
Please, sir. It was you who convinced me and my cousin of the capital importance of their research.
Research that has borne fruit, Your Excellency.
Truly? This is excellent news. You have found a plant with sufficient properties?
Not exactly. Know that during our captivity, an island woman visited the camp. The natives called her Tiena Hac Cadactus and treated her with utmost reverence. I heard them talk about a remedy, a universal remedy it seemed, that she had concocted.
Incredible. To think that what we have been searching for all these years could have been created by a savage. We must converse with this woman, and in haste.
We would be happy to assist in this matter, Governor, but I fear we would not be particularly well received.
If obtaining a remedy for the Malachor is at stake, I would be happy to take charge of the matter.
I would like to accompany you if the governor gives me leave. I will not miss an occasion to meet the woman who elaborated such an important panacea.
Accorded. It is only right that one of our own participate on the expedition that will restore health to our continent.
Very well. We shall do all in our power to find that woman.
de Sade, I'd like to discuss something with you.
I'm listening.
My colleagues are only interested in the physiology of the islanders and consider everything else to be superstitions. However, if we want to understand how they are transforming, we need to take a look at their culture. The potions they drink, the dyes they use are surely the source of their physical changes.
Why not talk about it with Siora? It seems to me that she would be the best one to help you.
Siora is very suspicious of me. She will never betray the secrets of the Dunegarda. But I was told about a place of ritual called Kurganau, decorated with carvings and offerings. By studying them, I hope to better understand what is possibly the greatest mystery of this century. But they call it a dangerous place and I cannot go alone. Will you accompany me?
Very well. Understanding these transformations will surely be useful.
Thank you, de Sade. I knew I could count on you. Let's go.
much longer.
You were lucky. Without our presence here.
Yes. Blessed be the earth that has brought you to us at this time.
Yuan, I was touched. I am hurt.
Oh no! Morian!
These creatures are venomous. If their venom has come into contact with her blood, this young woman does not have long.
And we are too far from the village to seek help. How are we going to save her?
I know a potion that will erase the effects of the venom.
I have a vial of it in my bag. Hold on.
Thank you. Truly the best winds have brought you to us.
Here, drink this.
Don't worry. It'll heal you.
Morian, what do you feel?
I feel the pain leaving me.
She is saved. You have great wisdom. May the trees always bear fruits on your journey. You have saved Morian.
It was nothing. I'm glad I could help you.
You are different from other Renaixi. You know the potions. But what were you looking for here?
We came to study this place, the carvings in particular.
This is one of our places of ritual. A place of connection. What do you hope to learn from our carvings?
I seek to understand the mechanisms of your transformations. I think these carvings could help with this.
You seek the secrets of the Donegada. You should speak with Armal.
Yes, his name is Dunkas. He is also our Donegad, and his wisdom is boundless.
Here is someone who should be able to answer all your questions, Afra.
Let us go, then. We will have time to discuss on the way.
I have so many questions about this place, about the rituals that take place here.
Bertir Tuma, Donkas. These Renaixes saved my life.
What happened?
We were meditating at the sacred circle in Kerganau, and we were attacked. Morian was poisoned, and they gave her a potion.
Really? We are not yet used to the Renaixes doing something without expecting something in return. You should go and meditate now. I have to talk to them.
They are different from the others. I'm sure of it.
I hear your gratitude, Morian. It honors you. Now go. Leave us.
My name is Desardet. I'm the legate of the merchant congregation.
And I am Dunkas, the Marl of the Yigidor, and also his Donegad. Your face markings designate you as one of ours, yet you are a Lugaid Blau. A clan that rarely shows generosity, yet you saved Morian. I thank you for this.
Please, we couldn't let her die without doing anything.
This feeling brings you honor. But what were you doing near our sacred circle in Kerganau?
It was me who led my friends there. I was hoping to study the circle to better understand your culture.
Lions always want the same thing. They covet our secrets to better steal our land, to better hurt our children.
Calm now. Perhaps this lioness is different from the others. Maybe we were wrong about them too.
I'm not trying to conquer your island, let alone hurt anyone. I just want to know.
A noble quest that could perhaps bring peace, but to which I cannot answer alone. I cannot reveal such secrets without seeking advice from the other Donegada. But in order to thank you for saving one of our daughters, stay with us tonight. Eat and celebrate life. Maybe by sharing this joyous moment, you will learn something.
We accept your invitation. Isn't that right, Desardet?
Of course. Thank you for welcoming us, Dunkas.
I'm sorry. You look disappointed.
I did not expect your Donegad to reveal all its secrets to us, but I would have loved to learn more.
Perhaps you should be patient.
It takes years to understand the mysteries of the Donegada. And since you are staying with us tonight, it will be an opportunity to continue learning.
That's what I hope.
Thank you for welcoming us tonight. We had a good time.
Yes. It was very enlightening.
We are glad that you stayed with us. We too have learned from you.
Your face brims with thoughts, Afra. Is something wrong?
It's nothing. Probably just tiredness.
We should all rest. It has been a long day. May your dreams be wonderful.
Good night.
May the moon watch over your dreams.
Is something wrong?
Dunkus wasn't here tonight, yet he's the one who invited us to stay. I also saw one of the elders sneaking out of the village.
You think they're hiding something from us?
I don't know. But since they don't want to share their knowledge with us, let's try to follow them.
I hope you know what you're doing. We shouldn't get angry with Dunkus.
If we remain unseen, everything will be fine. Let's go before we lose their trail.